Is it ready? Yes.
Beautiful. It's been an awesome year of just putting this together. We've had such a blast. The fact that I worked on Warhawk with Dylan before didn't specifically mean that any of the musical ideas were coming over, but I think it was important for us to have a shorthand. I mean, I think that's probably the best way to put it. He can say something like soaring and epic, and I know from Warhawk that what that means is probably French horns and high violins. The process of getting from point A to point B a lot of times has helped because that language barrier doesn't exist, because you can talk in musical terms and they get it. And because of that, it gets to be a fun trip. We finished recording some of the cues at Skywalker and everyone just looks at each other and just starts high-fiving. You don't have to say anything, it's just that mentality of, we want to make a game that we want to play. We want to make a game that we want to listen to. We want to make a score that we want to listen to. One of the things that we've always sort of agreed on from the get-go, even at Warhawk, was that if you don't have the melody that you can grab onto, you lose a lot of personality. You lose connection with the character. Musically, I feel like the way to do that, the way that you grab somebody and don't let go, is by writing them a melody that encompasses everything that they're about. When I first saw Emmett was when I saw that picture that Dylan brought in, and the first thing that struck me was grit. Testosterone, was swagger, bravado. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't shiny. And so immediately when that happened, everything in my score, everything that I was writing, the ideas for the solo instruments, everything sort of started to move in that direction in terms of bringing the player in and feeling like he is surrounded by dust everywhere and grime and action and sweat and the battle stuff that drops. It's just ridiculous. So because the characters are so, divergent, because there's so much mixture of styles when it comes to just the genre, I felt like we had a lot of license to be able to do things like combine Middle Eastern or Balkan vocals mixed with old world bluegrass dobro and harmonica, heavy metal style guitar stuff mixed with Chinese membrane flutes. And so my thought was, if you do a bunch of ethnic instruments that are from one area, the score sounds like it's from some place. But if you do instruments from everywhere, now it just sounds so different and unexpected and new. The player should feel like, yes, I've heard some of these sounds before, but never with each other, and so I feel like I'm in a completely new place. And it's not only this is a world that you've never seen before, we want it to be a world you've never heard before. But I still feel like I want to, kick ass. So I wrote a Rift Energy theme, I wrote an Outcast theme, and I wanted to have something that you grab onto in a character sense, but in terms of orchestration of that stuff, that's where I really brought in the nondescript otherworldly language. I think the vocals are what I brought in from that, and I think there was always, for me at least, the idea of a spirituality in the Rift Energy. I wanted it to feel like an unseen entity, but something that people could relate to and that they knew immediately was bigger, was larger than life, was all-encompassing, and basically had the power to create or destroy anything if unleashed. I'd like to think that some of the initial ideas that I came up with musically actually may have influenced some of the direction of the art, and vice versa. The great thing about a situation like this is I really feel like I was involved with creating the world with everybody else. And it was a real team kind of attitude. I treasure that because it allowed me to step outside of comfort zones, to try instruments that weren't necessarily as safe. And I personally think that this is going to be, probably one of the most unique and interesting scores of my career. And I'm really hoping that the people who play the game feel like, from a musical standpoint, this is really something new. This is somebody who took a chance. And hopefully from the game point of view, they feel the same way. They feel like this is not a formula. This is not somebody trying to make a buck. These are people who made a game that they had to play, that they really wanted to be part of, and that's where we all came from.
PlayStation